What's that colorway? I know that it's white.
Hyperdunk 10.
Look, man, they only look a little bit like the Hyperdunks, okay? Hey, what's good, guys? This is Chris from WearTesters.com. Welcome to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel, the only sneaker channel here on YouTube where you come for the review and stay for the conversation. Today, I finally have my size of the Nike PG3. So these guys right here, I don't know what they're called, but they're the PG3s in the black and white colorway. This was the one that somebody over at Nike said to wait for, and he was right, because I actually did go and try on the Black History Month pair, and I didn't like the materials on those either. They were better than the NASA's, but they were more like a canvas, which I don't like playing in, like, because it was like heavy and stiff and all that stuff. These guys right here are going to be more like most of the colorways, kind of that inline mesh, much softer, much more forgiving, shouldn't have too much of a break-in time as far as the build is concerned. However, the midsole, just for whatever reason, man, these things are stiff. Like, they are just stiff, especially because they made like an emphasized point to say that they had lightened up the foam so it's softer. And every time I put them on, I'm just kind of like, are you sure, man? Because these don't feel good right now.
Do you think it has to do with how the front of the shoe, it has that hard rubber piece to it?
Well, speaking of that rubber piece, there is no real outrigger to the shoe. They are slightly wide on the midsole, but not anything crazy. So what she's referring to is this little section right here. It's on every colorway. It's basically a rubber panel, and it is supposed to kind of like create that stability, and it's more than possible. It's probably more than likely that that is the reason the forefoot feels so stiff, just because it restricts the foam from kind of like squishing out and all that stuff upon impact. But even still, you got this protruding zoom unit. You should be able to feel that a little bit, and you can't. I don't know why. Every time I try on a pair, whether it was the NASA's, the Black History Month, or these guys, everything is stiff on them. They're also very, very, very snug. So the half a size down that I wound up in the NASA pair, way too tight. There was no way I was gonna be able to wear those. I almost thought that a 9.5 would work, but then when I laced them up tight like I would like actually hooping them, my heel was popping out the back, so that's obviously not gonna work either. I put these guys on. Granted, my feet could be a little bit swollen right now. It's first thing in the morning, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt, but lengthwise, they do fit the best out of all three. But I do believe that these are not gonna be friendly to some people. Some people are going to put these on and the fit is just not going to work, unfortunately, and that's just the fact of the matter.
That sucks.
It does suck. Now, like I was saying before, the upper right here is a lot nicer. It's a lot more forgiving than the previous models, the Black History Month, as well as the NASA pair. Everything else seems to be fairly the same. This material right here, I don't even know what to call it. It feels like a ripstop almost, or like a nylon. It's like very thin. It's lightweight. It feels like a tracksuit, you know, that like windbreaker-y kind of material. Everything else though is fine. The panels right here are still synthetic. I still think the shoe overall is not quality compared to the past two. Like, it feels like the one was where it was at as far as material quality goes. The two slightly behind that. This guy again behind that, which means that it's a pretty good departure from the one. Retail price, like people were saying, is $110 on the regular colorways. The NASA colorway was $120. And again, for what you're getting, I don't, what's the point of the price increase? For the keychain? That's an expensive ass keychain. Yeah, I would just go with, if you're like insisting on trying out the Paul George shoe, the new PG3, I would just recommend waiting and grabbing pairs that are $110. There's nothing significantly different between any of the models to warrant that type of price increase, in my opinion. Obviously, you could do whatever you want with your money, and that's cool. I'm not gonna judge you. But for me personally, I just don't see the point in paying $10 extra just because it's NASA. I do think that they're gonna play well after breaking them in. This rubber feels awesome. I know this is translucent. A lot of people get sketched out about that, but I think the traction pattern itself is gonna save all of that. And I really like how this outsole looks as well, this version. I like the black pod with the pink swirly things. I think that looks dope. I love the signature in the middle as well. I like that fluorescent hit. It gives a little bit something extra to the shoe. The swoosh right there is actually kind of glittery, which is interesting. So kind of like galaxy-ish.
That's what I was gonna say about the little pod on the bottom. It's like,
this guy right here?
Yeah, it's like Northern Light type thing.
A little bit, yeah. So still kind of playing up on, because that was something that a friend of mine was saying, is like he was surprised that the boxes for every pair is kind of that space theme, and they thought that that was just a special thing for the NASA colorway, but it's not. It's just, it is there. Same thing with that corny quote that people are like, some people like agree with me being like, yeah, that's a really long wordy quote to like place on a shoe, and some people are like, you know, that's been in his Twitter bio for his whole career. It's like, cool, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's fucking corny, man. It's a fortune cookie on your shoe. Take it or leave it. That's my opinion. I'm sorry that that triggers you. I'm not really sorry, but because it triggers you, I think that's funny. Also, one quick thing that I think is kind of like a little trolley feature of Nike, because a lot of people get very triggered about the swoosh. A lot of people. And they say that if there's a backward swoosh on there, that they're super happy that there is no backward swoosh this year, because the backward swoosh on the previous PG models meant that PG is a great two-way player. Offense, defense.
Was that not on the
It's
orange
on
ones?
there. No, it is.
Oh.
I just think it's funny. It's still there. They muted it, so they kind of like let it blend in, so it's not gonna like be as, because before it was on the outside.
Oh.
And it would literally be like the check starts this way. But yeah, I just think it's hella funny that it's still there, guys. He's still a two-way player, man. I do wish that the logos, like on the tongue and on the rear.
Be pink.
Yeah, I think that they should have been that hot pink. I think that would have looked great, just to give these guys just an extra punch, because I know that like that playoff look, the white, black, and then a punch of red, I think that's super sexy. So that would have been a really cool feature. They did not have it on here. That's unfortunate. So that pretty much takes care of it for these guys. This is again the Paul George 3 or the PG3 in the black and white colorway. They released this Friday on February 8th. Retail for this pair is $110. I'm glad to have a pair in my size so that I can start actually playing in the damn things, because I've been waiting for these to come out for quite a while. So here we go. Fingers crossed that they're not too tight once you break them in. Let me know your thoughts on the PG3 down below in the comment section. People have been kind of wishy-washy. Some people love them, some people don't.
There's no middle ground on this shoe, it seems.
On this particular shoe?
Yes.
Are you talking about from a performance aspect or just in general?
From the commenters. They either really
Like
like
it or
them
they don't.
or they're like...
Don't you think that's with anything, though, or no?
I guess. Maybe it's just because I don't like to have like super strong opinions about things. So I'm always surprised why everybody either hates something so much or loves it so much.
That's the way of the internet. That's the reason why we got rid of the number scale. If it's not a 10, it sucks. And that's just the end of the story, when it's like, no, like a 7 is good.
Right.
A 7 is very good. 10 is great. You know what I mean? And so like people have their own interpretation. And when you have that, there's no reason for numbers. It's at that point that you just do away with that and you're just like, nah, like that's a headache. But thank you guys once again for watching. Let us know your thoughts on these. Are you interested in this guy right here? Are you waiting for performance reviews to come out and all that stuff? Sound off below, let us know. Thank you so much for watching once again. Thanks for staying for the conversation. And until next time, guys, have a good one.
Do they make wide shoe versions of basketball shoes? Like they do in running and walking shoes?
No, so remember, what shoe were we talking about that? Was that with the Hover Infinite, the runner?
Maybe, but they do that. They have Infinite in for the men.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying is that like how they had that whole line of runners for different specifics of style of runners.
Yes.
Where they should have stuff like that, not to that degree. Obviously, like you don't care about pronation in basketball, right? But there should be stuff where the PG3 normal, then the PG3 wide.
And they don't do that.
They don't. And the thing that we complain about most in basketball shoes is the lack of arch support. And so a lot of times in order to get that, you're just gonna simply have to remove the insole and put in your own orthotic. And that's just the end of it. That's the easiest thing to do. Unfortunately, they don't like make shoes already made like that, which they should at the price points that these, you know what I'm saying? At the price points that they release these at, they should, but it is what it is. I think it would be great to have some shoes that are definitely catered towards specifics that are needed in basketball. You don't need pronation stuff, but for certain things, especially the wide aspect, the only way for Nike products, at least, I don't know about other brands, but the only way that you're able to get a wide shoe is if you buy an Asia release.
Okay.
They are wider. They're just not advertised like that to us because like they don't care. They're just like, here's the US version, there's the China version. Same thing, like their rubber over there is XDR, which is the durable stuff. We don't get that here in the States. It's standard over there. It's on every shoe.
Why is it with the materials? Why do they insist on changing the materials when they change colors on things? Like, why can't it just be?
They don't always. It just, I don't know what's, I think, you know, obviously NASA, that's an energy release. So that's different. It shouldn't have been, but it is. And then the Black History Month is a special release. Again, shouldn't have had, because the Westbrook doesn't have anything different, you know? So same with the KDs. The KDs is the same thing. The LeBrons is the same thing. I don't know why they do it with these guys though. Just for anybody interested, we do have a Nike PG3 performance review available right now at WearTesters.com by one of our fellow testers, Jalik. If you wanted to check that out, link will be in the description box below, or you can click the annotated link right above.